Hey guys, how's it going? So we were just, we spend those first couple minutes usually making sure that the stream is actually, streaming. So that takes a minute or two. And then we check audio, make sure everything's functioning. So I apologize. Hopefully nobody's too confused about what happens those first few minutes. And now, of course, we give a couple minutes to get to the actual time we're supposed to stream, which is at noon Mountain Time, UTC -6. But hey, hi, welcome for coming, guys.
Howdy.
We got some Baghdad and Greece. Welcome back, Manos. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a good time.
This is. I already tried playing with the model a little bit the other day when you first posted it.
Oh, another cheater.
I
Even
realized
Dave Richards.
my process is weak, so this will be thrilling.
All right. Well, it's an opportunity for everybody to learn something. Christopher Ryan's asking on YouTube if it's warmer today. It is. It is. Well, I mean, it's not like. Okay, it's actually pretty cold outside.
So I just went for a walk. It was mid to upper 40s. Wasn't too bad.
That's good. That's good.
It was definitely better than yesterday.
I did turn the heater on instead of the air conditioner in the garage like I did Monday. So that helped. Definitely warmer in here than it was then.
That's working better.
Go figure.
Fascinating. Yeah, we talked about the snow that I had on my back deck, like there being 11 inches or whatever by the end of the day on Monday.
That was crazy.
And there is not even an inch left on there, and my entire backyard is mud.
Welcome to Colorado.
My wife loves it.
And welcome, you guys, to SketchUp Live. It is Wednesday here. I don't know what day or time it is where you're at, but welcome. Wednesday noon here in Boulder, Colorado. I am Aaron, and I'm hanging out with my buddy Jody.
Hey, that's me. I'm Jody.
That's right. We got to get quicker on that intro. When we're live, it'll help. So connecting to Jody through Hangouts in my ear. So forgive the delay there, but hopefully everything is going on well with you guys. Hopefully everybody is staying safe and at home and healthy and sane and all the good stuff. And hopefully none of this craziness, bad stuff is getting to you. If so, if you feel like you're going that way, stuff's getting too crazy, just, hop into SketchUp and model something. It's great therapy.
Oh.
No
charge. Oh wait, no additional charge.
That's right. For the therapy part.
Yeah.
So we had a couple questions come through. I already had Vlad asked on Facebook about the mouse on the left. This is a 3D mouse. It is made to move models in 3D space using this puck here in the middle. So as I move this around, we move in 3D space. Not a requirement for SketchUp, but a tool for showing 3D models. So it is a design tool too. It does help speed up design process for me. Kind of a nice option to have and a nice way to present 3D models to people. So that's why we use it at some point. Oh, look, it's already there. Jody has put up a link if you're interested in finding out more about it.
I've heard that question a time or two before.
Yeah. Mohammed on Facebook is asking if SketchUp is available for university students. It is if you go to our website, and I forget the name of the tab at the top, like SketchUp 4, I think.
I got to go catch up.
Jody can share a link on that too. But yes, we do have discounted versions of SketchUp available
for higher education
students. Yes, he's asking for university students.
There we go.
And Dave up in snowy Minnesota is saying that he actually sees grass in his front yard. So things are looking up. Spring is starting to spring. Dang, works better in past tense.
I'm seeing grass in my yard, but it might mean something different in Colorado.
That's true. Well, actually, this is the thing about Colorado. People have this misconception about it. We're technically in the desert, and even though it does snow here, it rarely sticks around. So I can actually see my grass pretty much year-round. It looks a lot yellower and dormant during most of that part of the year, but yeah, and we don't really get that big blanket of snow that sticks around like you do in the Midwest.
No,
all right.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, not a complaint. So we are going to get into this. If you guys have not seen it already, please do head over to our forum, forums.sketchup.com, and this file right here, this image is kind of what we're going to be looking at. So we've been doing, on Wednesdays, we've been doing 2 out of the last 3 Wednesdays, we have done these machining files. So we I go and find these details, models that have to be machined or drafted, and we model them in SketchUp from the information that's there. And at least one of the models, or one of the images that we've tried to model for the last 2 times has been lacking some information. So it's been fun to work through that and kind of the realistic process of going from a design in one's head into a real thing that has to exist in the real world. So this time we're doing a little bit different. We're going to make some parts.
I have to say, after playing with this a little bit, I appreciate a machinist's job, because as I did this, it still seems like it was missing some numbers, or it was hard to intuit them.
Definitely possible.
So it'll still be exciting today.
That could, oh yeah, it'll be exciting no matter what. Not a problem with that. So this one's a little different, because rather than a bunch of small parts, we're going to actually make this assembly. So this is actually consists of 1, 2, 3, 4 parts plus 6 screws. So we're going to start by modeling all the parts. We're going to create each of these separate pieces as separate components, put them together, and then we're going to go in and model the screws with threads, and we'll go in and subtract those from the body of the part, so we can actually see how that works with putting the threads on there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. And I just learned today that if I lean forward more than this, it chops off the top of my hat. So I think that is like the world telling me to just sit back and relax. Don't get up on it. Don't get anxious. Oh, lost my head. See? It's an illustration.
Hey, don't lose your head.
That's right. That's just tell me, don't lose your head. No, I got to back down. Just got to chill a little bit. Relax. So I'm going to work on that today too. All right, let's get into it. So if you haven't already, if you want to follow along with our model, which is kind of the idea here, hop onto forums.sketchup.com. This should be pinned right towards the top. Live model along, assembly with screws.
I just posted a link too.
Oh, and Jody put a link up there. Grab this image, because this is what we will be working off of. All right, with that, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here to my desktop, and I'm going to look at this image. So this is a big image, so to pull this up and use this to model would be, you know, once I shrink it down to fit it so it's not covering up my screen, it's going to be about that big. And you can see, I can kind of see numbers, but it's not super clear. So I want to break this into smaller pieces. There's a couple ways I could do this, but I really want to show you guys the simplest solution I've ever come up with, and that is to just do a screen capture. So is it Command Print Screen on Windows, I think? Or I mean Control Print Screen on
There's
Mac.
no Command key on Windows.
It's Option Shift 4 lets you grab a section like this. So this is, I'm going to show you both ways to do this. I'm going to do this real quick for these 2 parts. And what that does is that's going to give me just an image right here like this. So you don't need a photo editor or anything like that. Just make it big, take a screenshot, and then I could import that. If I want to do it 100% exclusively in SketchUp, we could do that too. Let me show you how I would do that. It's going to be a little bit different that way, but it is possible. So what I could do, if I wanted to do this in SketchUp, I would say File, Import, go grab my big image, which is my assembly.jpg, and import it. I'll just pull it in. Oops, I think I have it set as a texture. When you go to File, Import, it's going to automatically just show you all of your files, everything you have. If you go to Options, then you can actually choose how you want to, if you want to narrow it down to just a specific file type and how you want to use it. So right now it's set as use as texture. I want to use as image. So I'm going to turn on use as image. I'm going to grab that metric assembly JPEG, bring that in, and then did I just do that wrong again? Oh, third tries the charm, guys. All
Sounds like someone's got a case of the Wednesdays.
Assembly.
Wait, that's not right.
Use as texture. I just showed it texture, and then I clicked on it again. Use as image. Whew. Got Mondays on a Wednesday. All right, so that'll bring it up like this. An image is a weird thing. It's a special kind of container that contains a file. And what it actually does, the way SketchUp does this is it does actually create a surface. The surface is the exact aspect ratio of the image being imported. It applies the image to that surface and then wraps the whole thing in a special group. So to get in here, if I wanted to go in and actually cut this up, I could right click on it and explode it. As soon as I explode it, it's just a surface and it has material here. Actually, I'm going to back up one step. This is back into a group, and I want to just show you this. When I bring this up and I look at what is in this model right now as far as materials, it's just the stuff on Laura. And actually I have some extra things because on Monday we played with creating templates, and I created a new template, and then I'm using it right now, and it has some extra stuff in here. I bet I have some extra components in here too. Yep, there's some extra components. Oh, I got a mess here.
New template.
Terrible. Yeah, we better do that. No, well, let me finish this, and then we'll make a new from template. All right, so when I right click and I say explode, like I said, it's going to take it out of the group and make it just a surface, but watch my colors over there too, because as soon as I do that, a new material shows up, and that is this piece right here. Once this is in here, then I can do things like come in and trace this with a rectangle, and now this is its own piece. Now this is a little bit different than what I want to do with the watermark, but if I want just this one piece here to use as a reference, I can do that. I can cut it out, and then I could model on top of this. That would be an option. What I want to do, because the way I do it is I always put watermarks in the upper left corner. That's so you can see it, so I can see it. I'm actually going to work with my screenshotted images that I created before. I'm going to get out of this crazy template I'm in. I'm not going to save this. I'm going to file new from template. And I'm actually going to grab...
So whenever I was doing this, I ended up using a template that had decimal and metric, and then I just did 2 or 3 decimal places,
yes,
just to make it easier to type all the stuff in.
Yes, that is a good way to do it. Let's go ahead and I'll use my architectural in meters. I'll just go ahead and open that one up. Why is it the architectural ones don't get that pretty green ground or the bright blue sky? They get kind of this gray ground with gray backdrop. Architects don't like exciting colors.
The gray on gray is more designy, like you're just a pretentious designer at that point.
Maybe the idea there is it doesn't take away from the design. The gray is the background, it's there, and then your design's like, wow,
nice,
right in your face. Yeah, something like that. Pretty sure that's it.
That sounds right.
I buy that.
Just
all right.
I'll check with the sources and I'll get back to you.
Okay. So that's one step. I am going to go a little bit further because I'm going to come in here to Windows and go into my model info, and I'm going to look at my display precision. So right now my default value that I'm going to be drawing in is meters, and it's up to 2 meters deep, and that's fine. I am going to turn off length snapping because at some point I'm going to be drawing smaller geometry with my screws, and I don't want length snapping to get in the way. So this is the preset that I'm going to work with for this model.
Nathan Blair, as an architect, confirmed you were exactly right.
That's right. It's the work that should stand out, not the tool.
That's right.
I feel like that's probably the smartest and most profound thing I'm going to say, so I'm going to model in silence from here on out.
Having known you for a while, it might be the most profound thing you've ever said.
Thanks, Jody. I've peaked. Time to find a nice place to retire. All right, so, well.
I'm back to my dad's backhanded compliments.
That's right. I'm going to load one of those images that I cut out. Dave Richards said that he did model his in meters, which is what we're going to do. He also took his and stood it up in the background as an image. That works too. I said for my part, I like to go to Edit and click on Watermark, and then load in one of those two pieces. Can we get the? There you go. That's the small piece. Here's the big piece. And I'll go ahead and open that up. And I'm going to put it in the background. I'm going to leave it fully visible and put it in the upper left corner. And then shrink it down just a touch. Please.
So I went the completely different direction because I've got two monitors here. I just stuck the full-size image on my second screen. It's not even in my SketchUp model.
Yeah, if
I just
that's
look over there.
Absolutely. That's actually how I would do this if I had the ability to do so. I generally do most of my SketchUp work also with two monitors, and one is for reference and, you know, control the music, and the other one is where the sketching up gets done, SketchUpping. But in this case, if I put it on my second monitors, you guys wouldn't be able to see it, and I wouldn't be able to refer to anything. So
that's true. I wasn't meaning to correct yours so much as Ian also confirmed that he was just had his stood up in the background. So I wanted to be clear. There are
options. We got options. All right. So it looks like the base of this thing is 30 by 90. So I'm going to start with a rectangle that is 90, 30. Boom. All right. And we know we're modeling this big, so I get Laura out of here before she complains about that.
So Dave made a comment which I ran into whenever I was messing with this, was I was jumping between my different views because there's a third view in that sometimes, yeah, I guess technically there's what, five potential pictures, but I found that having to look at a different picture sometimes actually was essential for me to finish it. But you probably can do the first part just with this.
Right. This part, the base is simple enough because from right here, it comes up 15, and then it cuts in here and here, and then it goes up another 30. So I think what we can do to start with is just take this, pull it up 15, and then what is this length right here? Oh, you're not going to tell me to do math, are you?
Right. That's where it got a little tricky sometimes. It also doesn't seem to have an angle for that little dovetail on the bottom.
Yeah. I'm okay making that
up. Winged it?
Winged it. Yeah, that's proper. 17 and a half and 17 and a half is what? 35, right?
35.
So this is 35 and 35, which I know to be 70. Not because I did math, because I memorized that at some point. So half of 70.
That's right, you did it on the Gazintas, your Gazinta chart.
So if I take 70 off of 90, that's 20. So that means this line is over 10 on both sides. So I can do this a couple different ways. I can grab this line, use Move, Option 10. Or I could come in here with a line, come this way, 10, Enter, and then just draw that line straight up. Either way works. Either way just gets that face broken. That's the important part. A broken face.
So Manos was typing 10. He typed it a couple of times, and I'm all of a sudden having this image of, you ever watch a game show and you're shouting along, no, it's too high.
I'm sorry. I wasn't ignoring you. All right, then we'll bring that up 10 because that's what the drawing says. So at this point, we've got the basic shape. So I'm going to work on carving in the rest of this, and then we'll get to these little pieces that jut out. Okay, so as Jody pointed out, we don't actually have dimensions for this little block. I'm assuming it looks like it's a 45 degree, but there's not a number on there. Oh, Andrew, best comment so far. Save.
And sip. Oh, Cowboy's here. I'm sorry to say, Cowboy, we're not to the screws yet. That's probably going to be the big conclusion.
The finale. All All right, so we got to look at what this is. So this is 10 right now, and I don't have a dimension for this, but I'm inclined to just say like 3. So I'm going to come over here.
Yeah,
This is the easiest way that I know to draw 45s too. If I have two 90-degree surfaces, is to draw this 3 this way, draw another line down 3, and then I'll just connect those two endpoints. This is something else to point out. I don't generally use or keep endpoints visible. In styles, you do have the option under edges to turn on endpoints, which will give you these little dots at corners. Sometimes, depending on what software you're coming from, if you're used to seeing those endpoints, that can be helpful. When I first started using SketchUp, I did keep my endpoints turned on, because when I would do something like this, to do that again, if I came over here and said, go this way 3, I needed to make sure that I knew that there was an endpoint right there, and that's what it'll do for you. At this point, I've done this enough times that when I draw my line here at 3, I know that it's there, I trust that it's there, and I don't really worry about it too much. But if, as you're learning, you're getting up to speed, endpoints isn't necessarily a bad thing to turn on, and it's not like it shouldn't be on. It's just it's extra stuff on the face that, or on the screen, to get in the way of what I'm doing.
I'm not colorblind, but I would wonder if, because I know green and red are both the bad colors for most colorblind folk. I wonder if that would help a colorblind individual be able to do this a little more smoothly. Because sometimes that round dot isn't red.
That's also true.
Or green.
My dots here change color depending on what I hover over. So yeah, endpoints might be helpful in that case. All right, before I grab that and pull this through to knock off the corner, I'm going to select the surface. I'm going to turn on rotate, and I'm going to hover over the midpoint right here. I'm going to go modifier key, option or control, and then just rotate that around 90 degrees. By rotating it around 90 degrees, I just took that same geometry and slapped it right here. So now when I go to pull, I can just pull that through on one side and then double click the second side to knock both those edges off. So I could have just done it once and then gone over the other side and drawn 3, drawn my 45 and pulled again, but I saved myself a couple clicks by copying that geometry over there. All right, Command S, because I'm good at saving. That's why.
Look at you.
All right, so we have this little cutout. It looks like maybe this whole thing sits on a rail of some sort, something like that. We have, it is 45, so it's 22.5 in from the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. 22.5. That's going to give me a snap point right there. I'm going to just drop a line down because I don't have endpoints turned on. And then I'm going to draw another one over here, 45. So this is where endpoints is helpful. As I just explained why I don't turn them on and then struggle to find the thing I just drew. Oops. They're not bad to have on. They're I like to keep my screen as tidy as possible, I guess. So I guess maybe that's part of my reason I don't use more guides too. I don't know. All right, so now we know that this is going to go up 5. We're gonna have a flat line across here at 5. So I'm going to use a guide. I hardly ever use guides, so I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to go grab this line right here, click on it, drag it up, 5, enter, and now I have a guideline right there. Now,
Andrew suggested, since this appears to be symmetrical, why not just do half at a time?
I could. It's actually not a time saver in this particular case, because as I go into draw it, I'm going to have to draw 1, 2, 3 lines to draw half of it to get a surface that I could flip over. My inclination would be to get my angled line, flip that over, and then just connect it with the top. So it's possible. I guess I do this real quick analysis in my brain saying, is that symmetric geometry worth modeling only half of? And like even this whole thing, I could chop the whole thing in half and model half of it, but the geometry that's copied is so simple, I don't know that's going to save me a whole lot of time to do that. So Yeah, that's your call. I mean, if it was a lot more complicated geometry, I would probably break the whole thing in half and model half of it. But in this case, it's simple enough that I don't know how much time is actually saved. So, all right, I'm going to now go to Protractor. I'm gonna come down here. I'm gonna grab this line right here, and I'm gonna rotate that 45 degrees. And that's the only reference I actually need, because what I can do is I can draw this line up here like this. It's going to go from the corner to the point it meets right there. Then I can grab that line, do my rotate thing again. I'm going to go find the midpoint, rotate that with the modifier key, 90 degrees. Oops, I clicked something weird there. Oh, it's because I'm just off of this axis. It's trying to snap to the axis. I should probably move that. 90 degrees, and then I'll connect it up with one more line. At that point, I can get rid of these little lines I put as placeholders, and I could also get rid of those guides. So guides, somebody asked, how do you get rid of guides? They're just geometry. There's actually nothing. The nice thing, they're lines that don't break other lines when they touch, but as far as how you work with them or how you deal with them, they really are just they work just like edges do. So if I want to move one, I just pick on it and move, rotate, whatever. There's nothing special to them. There's also a command up here where I can go, I should remember where it is now. Tools? Is it tools or is it view? Edit. I don't have any, so it's probably grayed out. Where's delete guides? View.
It's right there. It's highlighted. It's the 8th item down under edit.
Oh, delete guides. I was on it. That's why I was looking past the one that was actually on for something else. Delete guides will take all of the guides that are not hidden at the time. So, or somebody pointed out you can hide them if you want to use them later. That works too. All right, I'm going to take that then, push that through the back side, and we have our base geometry for this chunk done. I do have, so this piece right here, so here, this kind of looks like the front of a Jeep, Jody. A little round and
hey,
then, yeah.
Or a robot.
Cartoon skull or something.
E.T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are all good
all kinds
answers.
of things.
So
Ian said having mapping a shortcut to deleting guides is really useful. That's a pretty good idea.
I suppose if you use guides, getting rid of them is something you want to do on a regular basis.
Well, he also did above say he was a sucker for guides, so
hey,
he's the guide master.
He's a guide guy.
He should write a guide.
Ooh, then you could call it the guide from the guide guy.
Yes. Exactly. Let's not keep talking like that. Solid
gold. All right, so right here we have, so basically I have half a circle, it's both cut all the way through, and then I have this section, this little section right here, traces over that, and that comes out 5 meters. So I'm going to start with my biggest circles. So I need to make a decision right now how much detail I want to put in here and how many sides I want to use on my circles. I don't need this to be crazy, super high fidelity or anything like that, but at the same time, I don't really want to see the segments. I want it to look smooth, so I'm going to go for 48. Anytime I go in to draw a circle, if it's just for imagery or whatever, I usually do 24, which is the default. Anytime I'm considering this to be like any kind of finished piece where I want to look at maybe rendering it or it's going to get 3D prints, something like that, I'll usually go up to 48. If it's a bigger piece, it's going to be output, that I'll go to 96. But usually I do that. The nice thing about those numbers in particular is it keeps the same number of edges on each quadrant. With this, that means I'll have 12 there. So if I'm back to draw an arc later, like half an arc, I know that I would use half of that 48 if I want to match the geometry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, I'm going to continue on with this guide thing. I'm going to grab my tape measure, I'm going to pull a line this way, what was it? 17.5, according to my drawing, to the center of that circle. And I'll just pull one off of here too. 17.5. So these are the centers of my 2 circles. So now I'm going to go to circle. I'm going to set my sides. It's like it's popping up down there as 24. I'm going to type 48. And then I'm going to go right here. And I'm going to make sure I pull my circle along the red axes. That's going to make sure that I align my axes the same way. So anytime I draw a circle, if I pull along the red, they'll be lined up correctly. And the radius is 7.5. And now I could draw that again, or I could grab these two halves and just copy that to right there. Either way works. Whatever you feel best with. All right.
You do you.
That's right. You do. Just do your thing. You be happy. Be good. All right. So I have another circle, same spot, coming off the same spot. That's 12.5. And I guess I could have waited and copied all of that at once. That would have made a lot of sense. But
yeah, sometimes you just get excited. Your enthusiasm is appreciated. It shows.
That is a thing I do. I try to put positive spins on it too. All right, so one of the nice things that happens with this is I automatically get, because again, I have my 12 sides, so that puts a point down at the bottom. Because of my guideline that I dropped there vertically, I have a real easily identifiable point that I can just snap there and snap across to create the bottom. All right, now what I have is right in the middle, a line that is 15 wide that just drops straight down. So I do a couple things here. One is I could do math. I know.
Yay, math.
Hold on. I could come here.
Wait, you don't have that many fingers.
This would be kind of my default, is to click here, come this way, 7.5, and then go to that point. 7.5, drop that down, come this way, the full 15 meters, and then take that one straight up. That would be my default way of doing this, but I want to show you guys some different options. We're on this guide kick, apparently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw a line right here in the middle for right now, and I'm going to say, put a guide here, 7.5, here, 7.5. And that gets me that same reference geometry. Another option. All right, I got one other way that I could think of doing this. This one's a little obscure. This one's a little weird, I admit. I could come down here, anywhere on this bottom edge, click, and draw a line that is 15 long. So now I have a line. This line is separate from the geometry here and here, even though it's in line. I'm going to turn my endpoints on so you can see this easier. I can see that break right there, this line, and now I could grab that line while it's highlighted, go to the midpoint, drag it over until I find the midpoint of this other piece. And then from there, I could just draw my lines up. So we got options. We got different ways to do it.
That last one's
kind of
that
weird.
method.
It's weird, but I did no math. That's the only one I just used without any math.
Okay, all right, fine. Fine.
So a self-issued challenge there, and that would be my solution. I wouldn't recommend it either. Personally, I'd say that the guides kind of treated me pretty well right there, so I would probably stick with that method because that worked out pretty well. All right, this geometry right here repeats on the other side. It actually sticks out of both sides. So what I'm going to do is grab it right here and use rotate again. I do like using rotate. I'm not sure where I picked this habit up, but man, it's such an easy way in these kind of situations to just say modifier key, option or control, flip it around the other side, and now that geometry is on the front and the back. All right, now just come in here, push, pull this through, push, pull this through. Looks good. Pull this one out 5. Pull this one out 5. Whoop, or 65. Try that again. If you mistype something, SketchUp's as long as you don't go to another command, you can always retype the dimension. So even now, I haven't done anything else, so I can come in here and type 12. I could type 3. It's going to move around as many times as I type something, as long as I don't go to another command. Once I go to another command, now I'm in select. Now I can't just type things. I can type them, they just won't do anything. All right. That looks like our first piece sans screw holes because we haven't made the screws yet. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to grab all of that and I'm going to make it a component. I'm going to call this the bottom piece.
Or you could call it the Jeep or the frog.
Or the Jeep frog skull.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That it is. Okay, cool. So that one's done. That looks good. That's easy. I got nothing more positive things to say because that pretty much covers it. I'm going to go back into my styles and go to my watermark and swap it out for a new one. So I'm just going to delete that one and add a new watermark. I'm going to grab the other, and again, excuse me, hopefully this is not something you have to worry about. This is just what I have to do because I'm working off my one screen. But if you are ever in a situation where you have one screen, this maybe is the one of the pieces of knowledge you take away with you today, is how to use a watermark for reference imagery. All right, there it is, our thing. So this looks like it has very, very similar geometry to what we had down below, where we got this center block and then this steps out. Actually, like scary similar to what's going on here, like almost exactly the same. So here's what I'm thinking. How wide is this? 15 plus 30. Yeah, 30. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it kind of the same way. I'm gonna keep this image turned on. I'm gonna right click and I'm going to lock it. So by locking it, I just told it that I'm not going to accidentally come in and select it or move it or anything like that. It's going to stay right where it is. But I can come in and work on top of it. So the base here, this should be 60 by 30. No, 70 by 30. 5 plus 30 plus 30 plus 5. And that's that rectangle right there. That's this inner rectangle. Or outer, I'm sorry, outer rectangle. That has a height of, oh, come on. It has a height of 11.5 to the bottom of the corner. We talked about this. Yeah, seriously. But what I know is that this geometry repeats up here, and I know this outer circle is 12.5. So the overall height here is actually 12.5 with a 1 meter 45 cut off the edges.
You can use you can sort of intuit from the mathing there that chamfer you did on this piece you're looking at right now is only 0.5, possibly. Because it looks like it's only 0.5 up there. Is that correct?
This is 1, because 11.5 to 12.5. So that's a 1 meter. But no, I think they're different.
Then maybe it's a 1.
I'd have to look at the model again because this one looked a lot bigger.
Okay, that's fair. All right.
So we'll try it. We'll see. We'll do it. That's the nice thing about I'm not going to lose any material by drawing it wrong. Hey, no, Andy, welcome back.
The original image, and yeah, it's definitely smaller.
Yeah, sorry, I'm standing on my mic cable. There we go. We're good now. All right, so I'll do 1. So I'm gonna come here, drop down 1, which should be, that's 11.5 from the bottom. Yep. I'm gonna go 1 this way, and then I'll do the same thing I did before. I'll grab that little shape right there. Oh, and actually this gets a little bit trickier because I can't rotate from the center of this point. Because if I rotate from the center of this point, guess what's gonna happen? That's going to show up on the outside edge. Why does it show up on the outside edge? Because I just shortened this length by 1 meter by putting that on there. What I can do though is I can use the center of this one below and swing it around like that. Because this line is still the full length. I say that like a person who's maybe done that incorrectly before. Maybe.
Adam Seb1 on YouTube wants to know why you're doing meters and not millimeters.
I can answer that. SketchUp at its heart is an architectural modeling tool. That's what it was made for. So it actually is not created to generate sub-millimeter geometry. One of the things we're going to be doing with this is we're going to be creating screws with threads on them, and that's going to be fairly small geometry if we were modeling in real size. So we're going to model in, was this 100 to 1? Is it meters to millimeters? 100? Is that 1,000? Bigger.
1,000, right? Cent is 100.
Cent, yeah. So
Mil
what's
is 1,000. Yeah.
What's a tennometer? Is that a decameter?
Decimeter.
Decimeter?
Decimeter.
Decimated? So we're going to model everything just to use the same units. We're going to model it all in meters, and then we can scale it down by 0.001 when we're done and have everything be the accurate, perfect size. All right, this looks awesome. So one of the things, if I do say so myself, one of the things that we could do is I could hop in here. I could grab this face, copy it, come back out of context, paste it, flip it over, and put it on here to speed up my input. But the fact of the matter is, this is two curves that I'm just going to copy over. So I'm really not that worried about that. It's pretty simple geometry, actually. If this were a whole lot more cut up with a bunch of curves, or this came up like this and then curved down or something like that, then I might be more tempted to come grab this. But right now, I can actually come in here and I could actually, no, I can't do that. I'll just do the same thing I did before, where I'll grab my guide. I'm learning all about my guides. 12.5, whoops, 12.5. What did I do? 17.5, I'm sorry. It's 12.5 from this line right here. I can take this one in. 17.5.
You think you're just trying to be too efficient, getting ahead of yourself.
I'm getting something. All right, and then I'm gonna grab my circle, which is still at 48 sides. I'm gonna click here, again, drag across the red axes. And at this point, I can actually snap. I can just say, come this way, and that snaps at 7.5. I'll do my second one right here to 12.5. So, like I said, I could go copy geometry out and bring it out later, but really, I don't know that it's that big of a time saver. I like time savers as much as the next guy, but sometimes processes you think are going to save time maybe aren't as much help as they could be. Copying stuff in particular is a double-edged sword. Sometimes you grab a bunch of geometry and it has to be so heavily modified after you copy it, it would have been quicker to recreate it in the first place. Especially something like this where I already did it once, I know how to do it, and I have references here for just copying it. So it's a little bit simpler. All right, so some geometry has to go away now. What's that?
This is also if this is also an effort to learn how to use model better in SketchUp, might as well model as much stuff as possible.
That's right. That's right. Keep practicing. All right, so I do have a thing going on here. I have the bottom of this circle and this circle sitting inside this piece right here. If I turn on my X-ray, I can see it. See this geometry right here? I got to get rid of that. I don't want it as part of this piece. So there's a couple things I could do. The easiest one, though, and I'm going to leave on X-ray, is to just swipe my eraser across here, because the only thing that'll get erased are the pieces that I just modeled. Remember, my bottom piece is locked. So even though I drug the eraser across there, it's not going to go away. Just those pieces below are. All right, last piece. Same thing I did before. I don't need to work in X-ray. I can go, let's rotate, middle point here, drag it across green axis. I've gotten people calling me out on how I say the word axes. Axis.
So there's two different words there.
I know, axis
so you
and
can say
axes.
each one. Yes.
Axes?
Plural, singular and plural.
Axes. That's not right. All right, I'm going to just double click.
There's something about Axe body spray in there too, but I don't know it.
Yeah, that's same spelling though. All right, so there we go.
Yeah.
We have our second piece. I'm going to triple click and make that into a component. And I'm going to call this my top piece. Boom. Bottom piece, top piece.
If you didn't need to connect the two together, then you'd be done.
That's true. But I do.
Oh.
I do. Alas, I do. So I'm going to lock that piece too. I could be tagging these two as I go through. I could actually tag these each with different levels or with different pieces, but Command S. It's such a simple model. I don't know that I'm not going to even turn anything off right now. So this is easy enough. All right. I can come over here and
Styles.
what was it doing? Yeah, styles. Just get rid of this watermark. What did I just do? Styles? Minus. Did I hit no?
There and you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you're like, all right, left.
You know, so every once in a while your brain just goes, a little brain hiccup. What am I?
Autopilot.
Where am I? What's going on here? All right. Good stuff. We're there. We're back at it. Okay. Let's see. What is next here? We have these sleeves that go into the hole. If I come pull up my main
You might
drawing
call those
again.
bushings.
Bushings. I like that term. These are pretty darn simple. Oh, there we go. I'm going to just do the same thing. I'm going to take a picture of this right here, and then I'll import that to model from. I thought they'd be simple enough. There's like 4 dimensions, but let's be honest. I don't need that as a reference image. I just forgot how to remove a watermark while I was in the process of removing a watermark. So I'm just going to be fair about where I am. I said on Monday, right? You know, it's unprecedented, crazy times. Just do what you got to do to get through it. That means I'm going to pull in reference images even though I don't need them. Okay, that's the thing we're building. Let's talk a little bit about components and axes. That's what we're going to do now. All right, so I'm going to draw this totally separate. I could draw this in place over here, but I'm going to draw it totally separate over here, and we're going to go place it into the main model. I'm going to start with a circle. I'm going to draw it on the ground, and I'm going to pull out along the red axes. Same as I did with my vertical circle. I'm going to pull the axis. Great. Now I'm going to have to go the line thing.
I'll just sit here and correct you every time.
Axis.
Yes, like an axis of evil, but not evil.
Axis. Like math.
If it's
math
just
is
one,
the
if
axis
it's just
of
red.
evil.
If it's just green. Yeah. Wait.
Okay.
Wait. No.
Well, you already said yes, so it can't take it back. All right, so I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to actually do this. I'm going to create my 3 circles right here. So I'm going to pull out the first one to 11. I'm going to hover over the middle. Pull out along the red axis to 15. And then one more time from the middle to 20. I feel like now every time I say axis, I'm being a smartass.
You know, I tend to think you're just being a smartass anyway.
Yeah.
So.
We all got our thing. All right, so I'm going to take this one in the middle, delete it. I'm going to start by pulling this up 5. And then I'm going to pull this up 5 also. And then pull it up another 40.
Why is that? Why does yours look stubbier and
Oh,
fatter?
because I drew everything to the diameter. Karsten.
Oh.
Mike. Come on, guys. Let's
I
delete
blame
and start
you.
over. Did you enjoy that? How I blamed you for my mistake? Jeez. All right.
Having not whether you win or lose, it's how you place the blame.
Ducked it. Good job, me. All right, I'm going to draw that actually a little bit different now that I thought about it too. You know, sometimes the second time you draw something, it's easier than the first time. I'm going to draw my first one with a radius of half of 11, which is 5.5. Boom. My next one, I'm going to pull out to 10. Again, on the red axis. Like
Nice.
that.
Well done. Good job.
Thank you. I'm going to delete that. And then I'm going to pull that up 5. All right. Now I have another circle I can come over here and draw. I'm going to hover over the edge, go to the center, and pull that out to half of 15, which is 7.5. Then I can pull that up the other 40. All right. We've created a bushing. That's it.
That
You
looks
didn't
more
argue with that. I
appropriate.
was right? I remembered the term you used.
That's right.
Bat 1,000. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to make it a component. I'll go ahead and call it my bushing. Now, let's talk about our component axes. Yeah?
Yes. Yes. It says it right there even. Your cursor is literally pointing at the word axes.
No, that says axes. Like I have 5 axes that I cut wood with.
Oh, that's a good point.
Stupid English language.
I only use 2 axes to cut wood.
Well, I use one. I have one for each hand, okay? So.
You have 5 hands?
I was waiting for that. All right, so now I'm going to talk about making those component axes, placing those component axes. So when I grab this as a component, I pull it into my model, it's going to get placed based on how I set this up. So right now, if I did nothing and I just created it, this right here, this outside, it'll always take your geometry as if it were inside a container, take the low left corner and make that your origin. That's how it always starts out. What I want to do is I want to put it somewhere in the middle so it's real easy for me to place it into the model. So I'm going to say set my component axes. And I'm going to do this a couple different times. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over the end and I'm just going to click right here. That's going to get it to right in the center. And I'm just going to, if I click one more time, it says just make that it. So I'm going to say create, and there we go, I've got it. Now if I come over to my components and I grab this bushing, I bring it in, that axis, that component axis is my handle by which I place it. So if I wanted to put this directly in here, I could come hover over this and then find the middle point of that circle and place it right there. That's good, but you can see it has a little more work. I'd have to rotate it up and slide it in. What do we do? So, to replace an axis into a component, all you have to do is double click to enter the axis and then grab the component tool. Now that I'm in here, let's look at rotating it, right? So instead of having this portion be up, I want the top of the tube here to be vertical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click right here. It's going to say, down here it says pick direction for red axis. The red axis is correct. The red axis should come this way. Green axis, oh dang, will be vertical. So if I drag up on the blue axis and click, now I have my green going this way. If I hit enter, or I'm sorry, click outside to exit, it's going to prompt me, you just changed the axes of this model. Do you want to do that? Yes, I do. Now, when I come and bring this in, look, I'm grabbing it by the same point, but I'm pulling it in from the opposite side. Or I'm pulling it in, laid down the correct direction. So now I could come over here, hover, find that middle point, and drop it right there.
Nice.
Same thing here.
So both YouTube and Dave Richards have offered to muddy the waters.
Yes.
YouTube says he calls it a hatchet, not an axe. And Dave said you could use origin.
So now I got to replace my hatchets for my bushing?
That's exactly right.
Oh no, the cutting thing. Gotcha.
Oh, for a cutting plane? Wait, I didn't think we were doing cutting plane stuff.
Oh
okay,
boy.
We should carry on.
Just keeps getting rougher and rougher. All right. That was what I was expecting to be the first half of our model. We got our 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Now it's time to create 6 screws. First thing, just looking at this, a couple things I want to mention. One is this line right here. It's also on the bottom. These 2 lines, I don't have to keep those here. If I want to, I'm going to actually grab both of these and unlock them. I'm not exploding them. I'm keeping them as components. I'm just unlocking them so I can modify them. If I double click, I can actually come in here with my Alt or Control key and just smooth those surfaces. I like the look of that better. Same thing on the bottom here. I could come in here, Alt, Erase, or I could triple click, and then I could go to Soften and Smooth and say Soften Coplanar, and that'll get rid of it too. I only tend to use Soften and Smooth if I have more than a handful of lines I want to soften. I like the precision of being able to go in and choose which lines I want. Or if I'm in a situation where I have a hard line that will otherwise be softened by the engine and I want to keep it, then I'll manually soften those lines. But that looks pretty good. That turned out, that's perfect. That's exactly what we were looking for. All right. Hey, Tom. Welcome. You may have been here for a while. I haven't looked up for a while.
Well, and he's in there dropping terms like X, Y, Z for defining your axes.
Who's Zed?
Or apparently he has something to do with axes.
Was he a programmer on SketchUp at some point, or?
Maybe he's the lead singer of Molly Hatchet.
Give me a sec. All right. I'm going to go to my styles and get rid of my watermark. How about that?
Nice. Well played.
All right. We're good. We're moving forward, maybe. Cool. All right, so...
Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming. All right, so let's talk about screws. I did a couple videos, it was a while back. Was that maybe a year or two ago? Zed from Molly Hatchet.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, a couple years ago, did a video. It was right when SketchUp for Web came out, on modeling a spiral and then turning it into kind of arbitrary screw pattern. It was not a precision model. It was just kind of how do I make this screw pattern using only native tools. And it really consisted of creating a spiral and then two spirals overlapping on a cylinder and then shrinking one of them to pull the edges in. It worked pretty well. I mean, the geometry that still works. It will give you a screw looking pattern. What we want to create here, though, is we want to create an accurate screw. We want to create something that is a real screw with proper pitch, that kind of thing. So let's take a look at how we'd go about that. I think I posted this too. I have a picture that explains how pitch works. So we do have the M word here. We have some math going on. But we have here the pitch, which is the distance from either, it should be the same, the valley versus the peak of the screw, and then the angles between the two. So what we want to do is, I'm not going to go into this. I'm not going to worry about modeling this or anything like that. We'll just cut it square and be good. But we want to create some geometry that accurately matches what we have here. So question really comes now. This screw, this thing we have right here, is not swimming in information, this drawing right here. It tells us that this screw is 25 long, which really any size screw could be 25 millimeters long. And it tells us that the head is 7 millimeters wide. So that's not awesome. So we're going to have to do, as much as I like doing these machine drawings because we get to, like be pretty accurate with them. Unless that's this 4.5 outer diameter for this circle. That could be what that is. Is that this width right here? But I was looking up. not that one.
And you saw some clouds?
No, I only see ceiling.
Oh.
If I look at this this here website, torre.us, actually has, based on materials, based on screw sizes, how big some of this stuff is. So Dave's saying it's a 4mm screw. It's an M4, where the pitch is 0.7. So that's really the thing I was looking for there, was finding that number. So our nominal okay, so it's 4. So let's do this. So I have so I'm going to have a circle that is 4. I'm going to have a pitch that is 0.8, and we'll model from that. So now when I come in here to draw my screw, I'm going to go grab my circle. Right now my circle is, you're right, I keep saying screw, this is actually a bolt. Cowboy pointed that out. We are actually creating a bolt and not a screw. So
Nice try, though.
Yeah. People kept asking for screws, so I'm actually not providing what anybody asked for. That's how we roll. So the first thing I do is I need to create a, I'm drawing the spiral shaft of the bolt first, and I'll come back and we'll put the head on and cut the end off. All that kind of stuff will happen later. Okay, Dave Richards pointed out that machine screws are not tapered, so we're creating a machine screw. All right, I'm going to use the Tom term and call this a thingamajig. I don't know what else to do.
Okay. Well, so, and YouTube's asking if you could imperialize it for him.
Well, it never hurts to ask, because, well, I can't physically interact with you in any way, much less hurt you, so ask away.
That's right. The worst you can do is ignore him or say
right.
no. I don't know which is worse.
So, yeah, we're doing a metric screw because our whole model has been metric thus far. So one of the nice things about metric is it's very easy to scale up and scale down. You don't have to worry about like all kinds of weird fractions and stuff.
I'm a big fan of base 10 mathematics.
Okay, you can do that.
That sounded really fancy and smart.
It did. It's smart enough to make me not want to reply. You just shut me down, Jody. Okay. So here's the thing. Right now, my circle is 48 sides. That's going to create a very, very dense screw geometry. That's going to create a lot of pieces that are very small. I don't need to do that. I don't have to have this be super highly detailed. So I'm going to actually start by bumping up the number of circles that I'm going to create for my screw. I'm just going to go with like 12, which I know I can see the edges, but once this gets done, it's only be 4mm wide. So it's not like I'm losing a huge amount of geometry here. All right, so our base circle is going to be 4 wide. So I'm going to come this way 2, and that is the base of our machine screw / bolt. All right, now.
What is a 12-sided polygon called?
A double hexagon.
Oh, that sounds about right.
I'm pretty sure that was a total lie.
I looked it up. I didn't know before I asked.
Is that a dodecahexagon? Dodexagon?
It's just a dodecagon.
That makes sense. Okay.
Or maybe it's pronounced dodecagon. I don't know.
Could be. I would take any of them.
Thanks.
All right. All right. So I'm going to actually import this because I do want to reference this. So I'm going to. So I just drew. So this is just a rectangle. Oop, hold up, back up. Just wait, what the heck do you think you're doing? I'm going to take this. So I drew this out onto the x-axis just like I normally would. But I'm going to change it right now. Actually, let's do this. Let's grab all of this stuff. Let's scoot this over, and let's work on the axis. A lot of times when I'm working on round things, I like to work off of the axes or the origin of the model because this gives me a reference line all the way up the thing I work on. I don't have to worry
Or
about
hatchet.
maintaining the center. I can just work off of that. That's right. So what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to be doing a follow me, I want this to be a little bit different. So I'm going to rotate this. I'm going to grab the center point of one edge and rotate that to the axis. And now I'm going to draw a line that goes up our pitch, which was 0.8, over to here, straight down, and back. And now what we'll do is we're going to come in here and we're going to create our pitch, something like that. That's not the right numbers. I was just kind of illustrating what the heck I'm trying to do here. What I got to do is I got to get that profile. I got to figure out what that is. And that's where I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to Styles, import again an image. Put it down here. Make sure there's enough room to get everything on the screen at once. All right, there we go. All right, so what I want to do is get this measurement right here, this P is this dimension right here. This point right here is this spot right in the middle. All right, so I only want to create half of it. And I start
John
with...
McSee pointed out that an M4 pitch is 0.7, not 0.8.
Oh, dang it. All right. Well, that just made my math not... Who pointed that out? John? Okay. You're responsible for doing the math coming up. I'm going to bring it down 0.1. All right. I got all excited because this math was going to be easy, and now it's not. So I'm going to draw a line right down the middle because I only want to create from here to here. So now first thing to do is say, what is 0.7 divided by 0.8?
And now we'll wait 45 seconds to be able to get the feedback loop in there. Wait, what was your question?
I don't know. I asked it and then promptly forgot. What is 0.7 divided by 8? So it's like what, 0.85, 875? Oh, no way. 0.875.
Oh my God, you're totally right. 0.0875.
Oh, dang it.
You said 0.7 divided by 0.8 or divided by 8?
0.7 divided by 8.
I get 0.0875.
All right. So there, that right there is half of this geometry here. Now what we got is a line that goes back 30 degrees from there. So I'm going to go grab my protractor tool again. I'm going to say from here, we're going to go up 30 degrees. Like that, I guess. Yeah. And then I don't know where we figured that out from. Oh, there we go. 5H. What the crap is H? Oh, this has to do with my thread. 0.7 divided by 4. Hold on, so many numbers. Because now I have my H, which is, I believe, related to course, or no, that's the pit. That's this. Oh, H is right here. Okay, never mind. I got it. So if I go
Yeah, that's the one thing that does not appear to be defined in your original picture.
right. So this is my H. That number, 0.61 meters, is my H. So what I need now is
Dave said you need the minor diameter.
I wasn't ready for all these numbers, you guys. All right, somebody do this for me. 5 times 0.61 divided by 8. Five times 0.61 divided by 8.
I'm seeing 0.38125.
0.38125. I like that. Look at that. That gives me this. That gives me this. This was not the point of the stream, by the way, to figure out how to draw a thread. I just didn't have the numbers, and I didn't have time to calc them. So yeah, so that gives me this. And now I can take this. I can rotate that half upside down. And I'm going to grab that and make that into a group. Okay, now here's the fun part. What I have to do now is I'm going to start by creating a spiral. And my spiral is going to go, I'm going to go on the edge. I did this, actually did this during the Q&A too, I think.
Oh, we got a different.
I'm pretty close.
Well, that's his maximum minor radius.
Okay, so I'm under that. So I'm going to draw, I'm going to go to one of the edges. I'm going to go on the edge that's perpendicular to the green axis, and I'm going to draw a vertical line that is the same height as my cross section right here. And I'm going to bring it down like that. Yes. And now I'm going to take that line, I'm going to rotate from here to here 11x. The whole thing like that. I'm going to grab all of this except for my profile. I don't want just my lines. And I'm going to go move them with a modifier vertical 11x. No, this is wrong.
Looks like I really aggressive really quickly.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll need to go up half that thread.
Is it half or is it 1/11th? Because this will go all the way around one time, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So what I need to do is take this vertical line, divide it into 12 pieces.
Yep. Ooh.
That's not much. Let's see what happens. All right, so I'm going to grab that line. The process is the same regardless of how I do this. And if I come here, click here, option here, 11x. And now if I look at it from the side, obviously it's easier to grab them if they're a steeper pitch, but still just a matter of selecting like that, turn that off, and then I can move it from, it doesn't matter which corner I do this from either. I just grab 1 point, option, move it up 1, and then type 11x.
Ooh, that's
all right.
super fine.
Super fine.
I don't think that's, I'm not convinced that's going to work either. Okay, make it and see what happens, I guess.
All right.
Dave Richards said he uses curve make to create the helix.
I'm going to grab just one of these pieces. I'm going to say make group, and that way I can grab everything that is not this group or this group and delete it. All right, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to put it up once, and I'm going to say 9x, something like that. I'm not 100% sure it's going to happen right now. All right, I'm going to take all of this and weld it. I'm going to explode that, grab that, follow me, edit group, and boom.
Yeah.
That is not correct.
Awesome.
No, I'm not on the my geometry is not actually on the thing. So let me try. we go.
So I think we're coming back to that wonky thing where it's got to be
Yeah,
perpendicular to the
right. Ah, that's it. Yep,
starting point.
you're absolutely right. So it's on the line right now, but it is not perpendicular to the line. Because my line's a little bit at an angle. So, hold up 1 second. Let's see what happens here. I'm learning things right now. This is geography right here. In case any of your kids are home and need some geography lessons, I take care of that for them. All right, let's stick on the red axes. And then this is currently 3.2-ish. Here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it looks like upright extruder would definitely be the way to.
Yeah, probably so.
Eventually the way to go.
I was hoping to do without using extensions. So let me just bear with me for one moment. I'm going to take this right here. I'm going to take the flat.
I mean, if you only made a quarter of this and then just rotate it, or an eighth of it, once you create the initial starting climb, then you can just use that one piece and wrap it, rather than do the full follow me the whole way.
Well, it shouldn't be a difference, right? I should be able to go.
Well, it's just if you notice, it gets worse the higher you go.
That it does. Why? I want it to not to get worse. Thought I was perpendicular. I thought I was good, but I wasn't. I wasn't good. Well. Yeah, I thought I could make that work, guys, but I can't.
So talk to me about the JH Power Bar or whatever it's called. Is that just basically someone's compilation of other people's tools, or are they all tools created by that one person?
Yes, they are a compilation.
Okay.
So I think Enerot, TomTom, I think has some on there. Tig, trying to remember who else. But yeah, it's a really cool extension. It's good stuff. All right, get rid of that. We'll go grab upright extrude. Actually, we'll just turn on. I happen to have JHS Power Bar right here.
Boom.
Just right here.
Someone else suggested follow me and keep. Actually, that got mentioned a couple of times.
I've never used that and don't have it, so I'm opposed to that idea. Just because I know how this works. All right, so if I grab this right now and I can use upright extruder, I think this is going to work. Oh, I had to select the face. I think I have to explode it too. All right, so if I grab all of that, I should be able to just hit upright extruder. That didn't work either. Wow, batting a 0.
Connie said you already have upright extruder installed too.
Oh, was that in there also?
Although,
I'll be honest, you guys. Yeah. My extensions are a bit of a mess right now. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I got going on. All right, so I'm going to try something. I'm going to do this real quick, and if it works, I will undo and explain what I just did. All right, let's try upright extruder on that. No, wait, that's not it. That's upright extruder. Well, that seems to have worked. Good golly, that's not pretty. I don't think it kept my dimensions with that either. That's so weird. Why did it do that? All right.
Probably is a little wonky just because of the 12-sided being a
Yeah, that's okay, but
Dota,
it definitely.
Dotagon.
All right, so what I did was I modified my spiral ever so slightly. Um,
Don't forget to save.
I was trying. Oh, that's why it was weird.
You
So
didn't save.
I saved. Let me try this. Let me
Follow
grab
me
my
and keep.
spiral.
SketchUp tutorials says follow me and keep will do it correctly.
Well, I
I
don't
never
have
use that.
Let me see what happens if I rotate this. So this is right here. I'll grab this and extend this. Okay, I'm just curious. I'm messing stuff up. I'm making a huge just a mess here, but let's see what this does. I wasn't planning on having to use this. I thought I was gonna be able to make Follow Me work. I was not able to make Follow Me work. Well, that kind of created something similar. So that made no difference. I mean, what I got is, so from here to here is 0.7. So I have a properly dimensioned. Yeah, now we're just talking about different extensions that will do this, but yeah. Yeah, I did somebody's saying so that my geometry does extend through to the center. This is the center of the spiral still. No matter what I've done, I've kept. This is the middle of the spiral. But what upright extruder does is it actually turns that geometry each time and flips it to 90 degrees to normal, and it's actually causing it to be longer the other way. So if I go back here, this is where I started out. Actually, I started out at this. So this is an upright, totally upright profile. It's starting in the middle, so kind of horizontal. Here, let's take this, explode it. So if I grab the path and the geometry and I hit upright extruder, see that only goes that far and then it breaks. So it doesn't even make it around a single turn. What I have to do to make this work is I got to get this geometry pushed to 90 degrees to my path right here. So Dave, you're saying you intentionally do this and then just fill the geometry afterwards? That could work.
It doesn't matter since you're going to be deleting the stuff in the middle anyway later.
Yeah. All right, so what if I did this? I'm gonna get silly. I'm gonna take so I made my last piece of thread totally horizontal. This is on the green axis. My edge of my profile is on the red axis and it's vertical. So I'm gonna try this. Let's try both. I'm going to start by grabbing all of this, say follow me with this shape. Still doesn't work. Okay, so we've verified that's not an option. If I grab all of that and I say upright extruder, what happens? It still only goes around there. I don't understand. That confuses me. Because what should happen is if I just take this shape and I say push pull, I start pulling it around here. You can see that the middle line is starting to slip as I get through here, and you can see how the back end is starting to tilt back. So that's the problem, is that starts to spin around. I don't know why upright extruder is not okay with this. I mean, I have a solution. I mean, I know that if I go in and tip everything the way I did, I can at least get it to kind of work.
You can also use this chance to try and learn how to use follow me and keep.
Okay. I'll do it.
Because it sounds like you're making it up as you go anyway.
Yeah, at this point we're off the track, so. That's on Sketchcation, isn't it?
I guess so.
All right. I'm just gonna.
Plugins.
So here's what I was doing before, and this was to get my spiral straight. So I need, well, I guess I could just go like this. There we go. That line is perpendicular to this line, and now I can take this shape and I can rotate it on the red axis so that it lines up perpendicular. So now this start off shape is 100% perpendicular to the beginning line here. And now I can just grab all of this and I can tell it to, oops, I closed it.
So Profile Builder, someone mentioned that one also as an option.
Yeah, I have it. I have not actually run it. So, and I used Profile Builder back when it was the first version, and I know that that's one that I need to spend some time in before I start showing people again, because it is an awesome software that I am not in a spot to do justice by just winging it.
It'd be like trying to do a V-Ray video.
Yeah, that's comparable. All right, so this is what happened. I want to try to break this into small pieces that I can stack. The other thing I am trying to be conscious of as I do all of this is to make usable geometry. I want this to be not gargantuan. That's why I'm using such small. All right, we'll take all of that. I'm going to take all that, intersect face with selection. That may take a second. It's got a lot of geometry. Nope, we're done. All right, and I'm going to come in here now and try to precisely lop off this bit. This, you know what's going to be fun? I want to go spend time after this, grab those extensions you guys are talking about, and maybe recreate this exact geometry. Maybe not while everybody's standing and watching, but it would be interesting to find some different screw creation workflows and extensions and find the way to create the ultimate. You know what I mean? That'd be fun to do.
Ultimate. I like that.
Ultimate screw creation method. All right. So there's my bottom cut off. I can actually get rid of all this because I'll make this a solid in just a second. By cutting it off at the, I don't have to go in and erase all that stuff on the inside because Solid Inspector will do that for me as long as I have it clean on the outside. I'll do the same thing here. Just get rid of all my extra geometry up top. Whoops, too much. There we go. And then these pieces popping up. And then just scrub around and get that circle gone. Oops, got an extra line there. Oops, got two extra lines. Nope, nope, that's not an extra line. Something to point out here, one thing that I am working with is profiles are turned on right now. It's an easy way to find if geometry is disconnected. It does sometimes slow down rendering in SketchUp though, so you do have to be careful of when you use profiles. All right, so if I take all of that, make it a group, I'm going to go ahead and run Solid Inspectors, tell me there's a whole bunch of stuff on the inside. I was hoping it would offer to fix it for me. Maybe once I get this cleaned up, it'll do that.
Well, at least you're getting a chance to do some stitching.
Hey, today's a good day, I guess. Wait, what is this? What am I even looking at here? There we go. Okay. Haha. There we go. All right. So I mean, something's still connected. Oh crap! I know what this is. Yeah, this is kind of feeling like a bust right here. My internal geometry actually comes up and melds with my exterior geometry. They all touch. So this is not going to work. This is painful stuff right here. I just created a mess that I can't use. All right, I'm gonna.
What are you gonna do? The suspense is killing me.
I don't know. I honestly don't know what I'm gonna do. That's no good. I'm gonna go to File and revert to my last save and see where that was. All right, we're back here. All right, so that didn't work. If I carry that through like that, just curious. Yeah, I'm missing some. I should point out, Dave actually told me exactly how to do this, and I ignored his sage wisdom. Or I thought I got enough from what he showed to like do this, but apparently not so much. I do. Let me check something.
So Dave posted in the forum thread a few steps, he said.
Yeah, I think that's somewhere else. Ooh, forum thread.
Yeah,
Boom.
I'm not seeing it in this thread, unless he did it up higher. Let's see.
I don't see it either. Save me, Dave. I know. This is not going the way I wanted it to go right here. All right. I thought I had it, man. Okay, here we go.
Oh, there you go. He just posted it. Boom.
All right. So you just have this as a vertical piece.
He forgot to hit send. That's why it wasn't there.
That'll do it. This is all coming off. So what am I missing? What am I not doing right here?
He's not.
So he has this.
He's not using any extensions. I don't even know if he's using Follow Me. He didn't say. Copy, rotate to the next vertex and move the copy up and stitch them together.
Oh, come on, man.
All you've got to do is do 1/4 of one thread, and then you can just
I know, you're right. That's not too bad. So if I bring this to here, rotate this back to here. Oops. All right, fine. We'll do it this way. We'll do it. I really want to do this without tools, so I guess this is my solution. And take this, make group. I'm going to rotate it from here to here. And then I'm going to raise this up to the center point from here to here. And then I'm going to actually, right now, group these together. See, this is where it would be sweet to have like just some awesome extension loaded up that I could go. Or here's the other way to do it. Boom, done. I don't have that part though. I don't have the big reveal planned. All right, so now I can take this I see what you're doing, Dave. And then I do have to triangulate this, but I can smooth it. Same thing here. Smooth it. And then orient faces. Now I can take that piece, rotate from here to here, and scoot it up. Okay, then take these two pieces, rotate from here to here, scoot it up. You know, each time I do this, I'm copying more pieces, so it's fewer spots to have to do. Rotate that from here to here, scoot it up. And there is an extension, 1, 2, 3, 4, I only need 4. There's an extension called, what is it? Array? No, I can't remember what it's called. What's that?
So he updated with some more pictures, and most notably, he's deleting the interior stuff as he goes so that he doesn't have to do it with solid tools later.
I was going to get one complete section like this and then explode that. All right, now I can come in here. Get rid of all this interior stuff. All right, there we go.
He said he still prefers the ways that he did it in his video tutorial, and I'm unfamiliar with his video tutorial.
He shared it with me, and apparently I didn't pay good enough attention. All right, so I'm gonna just copy that up. 20. Oops. I gotta shot that off into space somewhere. All right, try that again. All right, once we got that. Wow, that was really something.
I mean, it was a little tedious, but it definitely it made a lot more sense doing it the by hand method there. Although you don't have any tools you can blame this way.
All right, so I'm gonna take that for right now. And I'm just gonna soften it.
Dave said he'll put a link to the video once you tell him he can.
Go for it. Please, Dave, teach the people. Because what just happened was not instruction. There we go.
Save it. Save it.
All right, so we got a screw. All right, I'm going to grab this and make it a group real quick. And then I'm going to hop over here, and I think we can still come back on this a little bit now that we have a thread. Oh, boy. I'm going to go cut one more picture out of our reference. Which is this piece right here. All right, let's get back in here. And styles, load that up. I know, again, pretty simple, but well, nothing should be assumed today, apparently. All right, so this is the wrong one. Nice. Seems about right. Let's try that again. Let's load the screw profile. They look pretty similar in the little screenshots. All right. Okay, so this is what I have to actually, this is what I want to create. So I'm going to temporarily create a circle. I'll make a 12-sided circle just to make it the same. I'm going to make it 2, so it's a 4. I'm going to drag that up 25. So that's how long I got to make this. So I'm going to grab all of this, and I'm just going to double it up. I'll grab all of it, grab it by a corner here, option copy. I'm not going to use all of it, so it won't actually stay double, but for right now, I want to grab it and put it right like that. I'll re-soften that too, so those scars where it healed together go away. All right, looks good. And so what I want is this screw to be as long as this piece right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it, and let's look at my hidden geometry. I'm going to grab this point right here and drop it vertically to the bottom of the screw. And then I'll draw a plane on the ground at that point. So that's where I got to cut this off at the bottom. Then at the top, same thing. I will come, just draw a line across for reference, and draw a rectangle right there. That then is where I want to cut this for the top. And then I can just slap a screw head on top of there and it's done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, take this, all this geometry, and just say intersect face with model. And that's going to take all that geometry and just cut it any place it runs into anything else in the model. The only things in the model that actually cross that geometry are, of course, the 2 planes that I just created. So unfortunately, it is a lot of geometry. I actually could have made that done a little more precision, because I could have come in and grabbed just this section of lines and say intersect that instead. But you can see that worked. All right. So now if I come here, we'll clean off that. And we could have done this with solid tools too, but this works just as well. And this goes away. And now I'm just going to delete this out. Oops. If I come in here, all I have to do is draw a line across one side, and that should close. That tells me that I did it right when it closes like that. Same thing down here at the bottom. Go ahead and grab that like that. Delete. All right. Okay, then come out here, get rid of this. There we go. And now the last piece is going to be the head. So I'm going to draw the head separately, and we're going to, actually I'm not, I'm going to, because this is still in a group, I'm going to start by drawing a polygon, 6-sided, because it's a hex head. Go to, what I want to do is I want to actually find where the origin intersects this face. What's going to be the easiest way to do that? Here's what I'm going to do. I'll just take this and take it from this face and shift it straight down to the origin. Remember I was saying that when I'm working with the circular things, I like to work off the origin to keep that middle point. This is especially important once I get my screw in here, because now my surface is nowhere, the middle of this surface, which isn't a circle now, because it's a circle with an angle cut of the ramp of the screw. This odd shape right here isn't actually centered here. The body of the screw still is, but this part isn't. So now I can come in here with my 6-sided polygon, start right here. My dimension here is 7 from face to face. But see how I'm pulling this out? It's by the corner. If I hit my modifier key, Option, or I believe Control on Windows, I can actually draw that with a dimension to the face rather than the corners. And that's just going to be 3.5. All right, that then gets pulled up 4. All right, and that, we're not quite done yet, but make that into a group. I'm going to group these two together right now, and I'm going to move that vertically back up to the origin. Check it against this was my measurement that I worked with. All right, that looks good. This looks tall, doesn't it?
Kind of does, but it's going through both of the halves on that.
And that is 7. All right. All right. One more fun thing.
It looks taller because you don't have the little chamfer kind of bit around the top.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's make that thing. All right, so what we want to do is kind of knock this off. I've actually seen a couple different ways that people do this. You can use an extension like round corner or something like that to just get angle cuts around there, or use follow me or something like that. We're going to actually go in and actually take a spherical shape and use that as a cutter, which is a little different. So I need to figure out how big to make it. I'm going to kind of do a little scaling as we go here. I'm going to go grab a new circle.
Did you check to see if your threads were solid when you were done?
Oh, let's check. Hey.
No errors.
See, eventually I got back in the swing of things. But that's actually one of the things I'm doing intentionally right now. I kept this head as separate right now because anytime we do Boolean operations, geometry intersecting with other geometry, all the selected geometry is checked. So if I say intersect this solid with this solid, it doesn't know that it only overlaps the solid at those places. It checks all the geometry of one solid against all the geometry of another solid. So what I end up with is if I have a lot of geometry, it goes slower than if I have less geometry. So in this case, I'm going to keep my head separate till after I get my little rounded corners off of there, and then I'll join that with the threads and we'll have the final screw, bolt, machine screw thing.
Yeah, all that.
All right, so I'm going to go in with the circle. I'm going to go up to 24 sides. And I'm going to draw one circle this way. And then I'm going to draw another circle this way. And I'm going to draw them to the same point. I'm going to go ahead and cut that circle in half. Get rid of that. Select these two halves. Oops. Follow me with this half. That wasn't right. Actually, I need to do this. Select this half, follow me with this half. Also not right. Bat 1,000. All right, let's try that again. You know, I did a video not that long ago that said you should be able to make a circle in 6 seconds. Let's just do that. Let's grab this, follow me with this, and we have our sphere. All right, now I'm going to select this, intersect face with context. That'll work. And now I can just get rid of this bottom half, because all I'm looking for is this dome right here. In fact, I don't even want that part. I just want this part. I'm going to make that a group, and I'm going to select it by the top point. I'm going to if you want to turn hidden to find that point. There we go. That's the point I want to bring up. And I want to put that right in the center of my hexagon. So if I hover over the edge, there it is in the center. Now, this is where I have to play with it a little bit. I don't have an exact measurement for the arc of this round or anything like that. As I start to slide this on the vertical axes, I'll see it pop up through the bottom, through the top. And then that's what's going to happen. It's going to cut off that much when I intersect it. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to explode my head and grab that head geometry and my arc, which I'll also explode. And I will just intersect faces with selection. With that, I can just take this piece, get rid of it. This piece, get rid of it.
Dave said Dave recommends using a cone instead of a sphere.
Okay, that would work too. Now, I don't know. That's really going to look pretty cool. Let's see what our hidden geometry looks like. Yeah, that's comparable. Okay, so I got a teeny bit of small geometry there, but a cone would work as well. right, so now I have this loose geometry and this solid component. I'm going to go ahead to this piece and explode it. When I explode it, it's going to join, but it will have left the face in between the two where they connect. So I'm going to poke my head inside the screw head, select just that center piece, delete it, and I can look down into the screw. Beauty. And let's check it. No errors. All right. Now, this currently is a group. I am going to make it a component. I'm going to call it our machine screw. I'll make it sound official and call it an M4. All right, now one of the things I did, and this was intentional, if I double click in here, we want to talk about where this is. When we go to place this, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my guides because I'm kind of liking this guide thing. I'm going to put some guides in here for where this screw is supposed to drill in. I'm going to want to align the screw by the center point right here. So if I was to just grab it, right? So let me go create my guide layout or my screw layout real quick. I bring my other reference image up.
Dave wants you to chamfer the bottom of it too.
Well, fortunately, it's a component and I can do that at any point. So, boy, just because Dave's better at drawing machine screws than me, it's just gonna boss me around, huh? You can.
Yeah.
You can. You got it right. You earned that. Yes. Yes.
Does he have a microphone? Maybe he should be the one talking.
Oh, back off. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Richards. I'll be my trailer. All right. So I'm going to pull a couple of reference lines here. I can do this from outside. This is a group right now, but I can actually come in with my reference lines and I can pull it off of geometry. It's in a group. I don't have to be in that group to do it. I'm going to come this way 7.5, which I just mistyped, 7.5. I'm going to come this way 7.5. Now, this is tricksy bit. The dimension we have now to the center of these holes right here is 5 off the edge. But remember, we put a 1 inch or a 1 meter cut on there. So I'm gonna have to pull from here. If I pull off of here, it's gonna be inside the geometry. See, guides pull along one plane. So I'm gonna have to pull off of here and go 4 instead to account for my 1 meter chamfer there. All right, so with that, we have the location of 4 screw holes. 2 more. This one is the intersection of this line right here. If you want to put a line on a line, you can, if you're good, you can wiggle it just a little bit and move it 0. I tend to pull it away like that and then drop it right back, and then it's centered. What I can do is grab an existing line, bring it over, and move to centered. Okay, so screw here, 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 and here. So talking about origins, oh dang it, I forgot which one is supposed to use. Axes.
Why not both?
Axes, hatchet. I'm gonna grab it by this point right here with move, and then, oops, gotta select the right thing. And then I can use my modifier key option to bring it. As soon as, because I'm in version 20, it won't do this necessarily in previous versions. As soon as I rotate so that my cursor is behind geometry, my geometry will turn transparent, and then I can just go in here and drop it, boom, right there on that intersection. That works really well if I'm pulling from the origin. But what happens if I don't? So if I come over here to my components browser, when did I save last?
Too long.
Some days everything comes up roses. Some days today, I don't know. Today is just not the day. Good times. Good times. I blame Corona.
With Corona.
All right, we still have our screw. All I got to do is get a couple of guidelines in here real quick. Man. So, how's everybody? And I believe this was 4. I did have a boss who reminded me when I failed and had to restart work that second time through was always so much quicker.
Sort of like that whole, whenever you lose something, it's always the last place. You always find it the last place you look, which is kind of obvious.
Because you stop looking once you find it.
That's right.
All right, so we'll grab that again. Option, as I was saying, I'm gonna place it right here. Now, what we were talking about, this was our thing we were talking about, was if I go into the components browser and look at my in-model components, if I grab this machine screw right now and bring it in, look where I'm dragging it by. I'm off here on the corner. So if I go like that, that doesn't help. And this is especially important because, like I said, if you look at the bottom of this, I don't have a nice round circle to pull a center from. So what I want to make sure I do is I get this component lined up with this point to place. So here's the thing that happens sometimes. If I come in here, and just like I did before, I want to put that back in here. Uh-oh, I don't have a spot to snap to. So to transfer my origin from the outside in, actually, is there a way to, if I come in here and right click, can I say reset? Boom. Reset will place it back at the origin. So if I exit now, nope, it's not gonna. So two-step process. Right click on the origin, say reset, then grab your origin tool, click and trace the current origin. And now if I exit, it'll say, do you want to reset it? Yes, I do. Now if I grab that same piece, I'm grabbing it from the bottom, same spot. So I can grab it and I can place it right there. And then this is actually kind of easier to just go grab these two, shift, move from this point, modifier key to right here, and then get one of these, place it right there, and then I can just move from reference point, or reference line to reference line. All right, so now that I got that in, they're all in the right spot. I can get rid of my guidelines and say, turn my guides off, or I could actually, like I was saying before, I can come in here and say, delete guides. We're almost there. So each of these right now is a solid. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab them all, and I'm going to drop them using the bottom of one of them vertically to the face of my part. So if I look in X-ray,
Goodness, they're self-tapping.
that went in so easy. I don't know why people complain about that. All right, so that's good. But I got to cut that out of my other pieces. So what I'm going to do is open up my solid tools.
Saved.
I saved, you betcha. And you guys saw I did some videos just recently on solid tools, and one of the things I showed was Enerot solid tools. I'm actually going to use that. I'm going to go to tool palettes. I'm going to find, oh boy, it's really time to clean up. You can tell I've been doing more extension inspection videos. All right. I'm going to, so Enerots works a little bit different because with this, here, I'm going to do this in 2 steps actually. I'm going to hide these, whoops. Going to hide these pieces. So Enerot actually does a better job of group selecting. So I think what I can do is just grab all of this. I think I can hit trim. I think that's this one.
We're going to find out real soon.
No, actually what I have to do is I have to select my cutter and then say trim this. I get confused about the order because they're opposite. I think you select what's going to be cut first, and then you select what you're cutting from it second. Yeah, so there we go, look at that. So that gave me the perfect hole through there. So what I can do with Enterout's tool is I can select my cutter, or my piece to be cut. Sorry, it's backwards. And I can say, cut this out. Take just a second or two.
Unfortunately, this is zero tolerance. There is no
That's right.
margin of error.
I got it right perfect, so I don't know why we can't just, yeah, so I could actually just make holes slightly bigger than the threads and push those through on the top piece, and then they would tie just into the bottom piece, but I didn't do that. Wow, for some reason this intersection is taking a lot longer than the other. And you can't hear it, but my fan just kicked on my computer.
Uh-oh.
A lot of thinking going on. Thinking hard.
Hope you saved recently.
This falls right in line with the rest of this model, I think. This is about perfect. You know, we went from me spending a week, I'm not making excuses. I'm just looking at what's going on. I went from, you know, having a better part of a week to prep for one of these models once a week to now I do one every other day. And sometimes it goes really, really well. I think we've had several streams that have gone just smashingly, wouldn't you say, Jody?
Yeah, this is,
and then sometimes,
with the exception of the Cobra, this is kind of the messiest that we've had.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to back up because several people are saying this, and that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and drop these in. I undid till I got my guidelines back. What I will do is I will take these and I'm going to go ahead and tag them as my screws, and then I can mirror tag and turn screws off. And then what I can do is I can put some circles right here, and I don't know, they're 4 to the outside, so if I did 4.1, is that a significant? I guess that would be, radius would be 2.05. And I drew that out of context. Come in here. 2.05. And I'm just going to grab that circle.
4.5 is the spec.
4.5?
4.5.
All right, well then let's go.
I mean, Mr. Richards.
2.25. I'll grab that.
Did you just do math in your head?
Wow, it was an accident. I didn't mean to. And we'll take that. Option copy. Right there.
Andy wants you to go inside the component first.
Okay.
Are you already inside the component?
We can. This one? This particular one?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, he wanted you to cut in half, so.
Mm. All right, well, I'll do this from here. I'll pull this down. I'll double click on this one.
This is the gremlin's eye view, like for the gremlins that create stuff while we sleep.
That's right. And once you do that, boom. There. Oh, no, 2 more. I'll do these from
It just occurred to me that we could use SketchUp to model a refrigerator, close the door, and see how the light gets turned off and on now.
Wow, that's great thinking. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Next week. All right, that's awesome. Now, let's go turn our screws back on. And I'm going to turn off this top piece and my 2 bushings. Put them on their own tag. All right, so this is where we want to actually pull screws from, or pull screw holes from. So I'm going to come in here and say, grab this piece and say trim this piece out of it. All right, that took about 11 seconds that time. If I do that again...
I'm sure it'll go faster this time because it knows how to do it. Save it first.
I don't live like that. I'm on the edge.
It's like I don't even know you.
Yeah, that would have probably been great. Sometimes you learn, sometimes this. Well, no,
So
I was interested about
process
this because, so what's happening is, I was talking earlier about how, based on the amount of geometry, Boolean operations take longer. So the issue that's coming up right now is that after I cut that first one, this piece has so many more edges to check against. So every time I do this, I'm going to compound my Boolean selection. Wow, so this is taking significantly longer because I probably went from being, I don't know, maybe 100 edges to over 1,000. So yeah, so if I look at this, if I come into this component, let's hide the rest of the model. So if I grab all of this, yeah, I got 9,000 entities, as before, like it says, probably around 100. And every time I do that, I'm going to add, let's see,
a bajillion more, a lot more.
2,400 edges, or 2,400 entities every time I do that. Which is, I mean, it's not a big deal. Now, what I'm trying to remember...
You could select a bolt hole, make it a component, and then just use that as a new hole for all the rest of them. Because
boom, Jody just got it.
Lined up the same.
If I grab this geometry right here...
Are you about to say that?
I'm going to take that... Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. What? There we go. And now with it selected, I'm going to turn my other geometry back on because I want to copy it from the same point. So I'm going to grab this point right here, Option. There's my screw hole. I'll copy it to right there. And I'll copy that to right there. I'll copy that.
I was getting ready to ask Transom. Transom was asking if you could use, if it would be a benefit to use proxy for bolts, but based on this workflow, that's not what you want to do, is it?
Not if we're looking for a fully machinable thingy. So now I'm going to turn my screws off. Oh, baby. It all came together at the end. So
I love it when plan comes together.
Turn those on. Ooh, look at those through holes. And then finally our screws. Man. So I admit, there is a struggle for a minute or two there, but we got it. Oh, actually, well, MVP, Dave Richards, got it, really.
Good thing he's here today. Now, you could, just to go back in sanity check, there is in your original file, it shows how deep the bottom hole is supposed to go.
I think it said 15. 12.5. Yeah, so we didn't do that. I'm okay with that. What I could have done to do that, which actually this was easy enough to do. We'll just do it. We're gonna.
No, it's 15. You're right.
Yeah, I'm at 12.5. So that's just saying it's not. We don't have that.
Oh,
correct.
What you made is only 12.5.
Yeah, putting the screws in here got it to 12.5. So I'm gonna undo all my screw holes.
Yes. Dave points out that the screw holes go down deeper than the actual thread because
which makes sense.
You don't want it to bottom out. Yep.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these, and it's 12.5 now, so I have to go down 2.5 more. So I'm going to drop them 2.5. I'm treating them all the same. I could do this with just one screw, would work fine. And now I'm going to select this. I'm going to say trim out this one, only one. And then we're going to use the Jody method to copy that cutout geometry. Or we should check it first, huh? Check it before you copy it a bunch of times? Is that a saying?
Measure twice, cut 3 times,
15.
Get new line, start over.
Yeah, that's not a saying I like. I'll grab all of that, and then I will copy it from here to here. Oh, I'm having 3D mouse problems. Issues. Oi.
If you just did them along one side, then you could use your rotate 180 degrees method.
I could, but because these are aligned, they would be a half rotation off, which in the real world wouldn't matter so much, but in my 3D model, that would mean a lack of precision. All right, so then I grab my screws and I would scoot them back up, 2.5. There we go. So now my screw holes go 2.5 meters past the bottom of my screws, and turn my upper assembly on, and we are golden-ish, goldish.
Stay gold, Pony Boy. Whew. That looks pretty legit. Now you need to go and apply the appropriate color so that it's a nice steel gray look.
A nice ugly blue.
That's so funny. It's so funny that people see colors like that. I totally just see gray, and I wouldn't call that blue at all. I had someone call my Jeep blue, and I was confused. I'm not saying you're wrong. Just your eyeballs are different than my eyeballs.
That's true. I have my own. Yeah, it's a blue-gray. It's a blue-gray color. Here, you know what we can actually do, because we have the technology, is we can actually do this. I could say, let's go grab that color. Ooh, maybe we should go with the lighter color.
I've got a lighter sitting here. Better. It looks like it's red.
All right, there we go.
Perfect.
All right, so last thing to do then would be to rescale it.
Have you checked the whole thing for solid yet?
I checked each piece at some point. Let's see. Okay. Solid, 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 solid. Yeah, I guess we could have ended up with some weird geometry in this one and not solided it. All right, so I'm going to grab the whole thing. I'm going to scale 0.001, I think. Ugh, too much scaling, zooming. All right, what's the dimension? This was 5 vertical. Oh, I'm gonna have to change my
precision.
That's less than a meter. What do you want from me? All right, let's go to millimeters. All right, let's go here. 5 millimeters. Boom. We're back to scale.
Boom.
All right, I'll take that.
So since you did the little hack to get the thread to go down an extra 5 units, did it script your threads in the top half?
No, because the top half is just through holes.
Oh, okay. Okay, and that's what Transom suggested. Actually, so Transom said now that he knows how to do this, he's going to, I think he said he was making a hand plane. So I think we have to have proof on his part. We need to see the SketchUp model on forum.
Yeah. Otherwise, Jody will
resultant piece.
Call you out on lying.
Yeah, I'm making a list. right now. I'm not checking it twice yet.
You're no Santa. All right. Whew. That wasn't too bad. I was a little stumbling with the screw. I thought that was going to be a little easier than... do check out Dave Richards' video. He put it up on the forum. He did offer it to me. I honestly only had a couple minutes, so I kind of scrubbed through, and apparently I missed some important stuff. But it was a very good, very comprehensive video on creating screw threads, and it was awesome. I mean, he did a great job. And keep an eye out for Transom's file up there also. So if you don't see a hand plane from Transom in the next week, start the harassment. It's cool.
He said he'll do it. So
All
all right, we've got commitment on his side.
It's official, whatever it is. All right, so there, that's that.
Good. I think that one was a little more exciting than the 6 smaller, easier ones.
Exciting? There's a good solid
my heart was racing.
10, 15 minutes in there that I wish I could erase from history. But other than that, shouldn't you have moved them down a multiple of 0.7? No, because I don't really care where the threads end up. I only care about the depth of the hole. Saeed is asking about layout. I'm actually setting up right now to create some videos for layout specifically. So, so yeah, keep an eye out on that on our YouTube channel. We'll have some layout videos coming up pretty soon. Yeah. Oh, hey, whoa, Dave, thank you. Whoa, man, I just scaled the outside of here. Inside here, these are still very large. I scaled each individual piece and not, or the whole thing and not the individual pieces. That was, whoops. So if I was to come over here to components and bring my screw in, what's that big thing? What is that gray background? Oh, that's just a 1,000-foot tall screw. So I didn't actually, I didn't rescale that properly. So once I get to this point, I'm trying to think what the easiest way to do this is. If I just come in here, there it is. I can click Scale Definition. So I just have to do that once to each component, I think. All right, now I should be able to bring this in. There we go. Yeah, that's one of those things that you'll see that on warehouse files where you bring something in and it'll be the right size. And then you go, if you ever look at your component list, you find out that it's teeny tiny or huge or something like that because people do what I just did and don't scale the definitions too. Thank you. Good catch. Thank you, Dave. Thank you a lot today, Dave. Yeah, so I think that wraps that up. We are going to be back here modeling again on Friday. We're going to do an elaborate structural architectural column, I think is the proper full name of the thing. But basically, some fancy looking old school Greek or Roman, or I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to have to do a little study between now and then, but we're going to do something with some scroll work and some different pieces up at the top of a column. It'll be fun. It'll be a lot of good geometry creation. My plan is to use some native tools, but we'll probably get into some things like maybe Fredo scale or Curveloft, maybe a little subdivision. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. I'm not sure exactly how much detail we want to get into this column or how long it'll take, but it'll be a fun thing to do, and it'll be some cool geometry modeling and some classic architecture, which is nice.
I think people are starting to have seizures. I'm seeing a lot of weird words. People are speaking in tongues in the chat thread here.
Well, Doric ionic Corinthian composite, that's actually just math. He's just actually writing out words that are numbers.
I think it's actually like lorem ipsum, like this web design. He just grabbed a chunk of text and kind of pasted it in there. It's vaguely Latin sounding, and that's it.
No, I think that's a character from Harry Potter.
Or maybe that's the spell to create a column.
Ah,
Nailed it. Okay.
yeah.
Um, I feel like everyone should prepare for this by going and watching the SNL skit from like 10 years ago. It was all about marble columns. Some guy in Manhattan or New Jersey that Mike's Marbleopolis.
Well,
He
maybe
just
maybe
shows
when
off
we
all the
get
different
our
kinds of
we
columns.
get the topic posted in the forum, you can get a link up there for help
I'll
everybody
throw it up
prep.
there. Will do. And I'll try and throw in some lorem ipsum in there as well so that it sounds official.
There you go. Just filling words. Okay, well, we have got to here. So thank you for sticking through. That was a learning experience for me too. I learned some things. Screw threads still aren't as easy as I think they are. That's one thing I learned. And maybe that's a spot where maybe we'll see an extension inspection on some of that screw making stuff.
I could see exploring it more. I'm going to have to go watch Dave's 20-minute video as well.
Dave's video was pretty good. It was good, and I apologize. Dave sent it to me ahead of time, trying to help me out, and I thought I had it, I was good, but I did not give it the time and direct attention it deserved. I was swimming through 3 different things at the time, and I was like, oh, cool, good, yeah, thanks, Dave, but I should have done more. But yes,
so you're going to put this SketchUp file up. You're going to put this file up in the warehouse.
Yes.
Or in the forum directly?
This will be,
okay.
I will put this on the warehouse and link to it on the forum. So if you do want to check it out, download it, take a look at how it all came together, that is awesome. That's what it's there for. If nothing else, hopefully we'll see you on Friday. Like I said, we'll come back here to make some aaronic columns. See what I did there?
Yeah, ironic.
Yeah, so we will make some columns next time. Come back on Friday. It'll be fun. Thank you, Jody, for hanging out and helping
Thanks
me
for having me.
Remember to look at what people are telling me.
Axis.
Oh,
Hatchet.
Dang it, still have to work on that. And thank you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. Hope walked away with some new trick or some new idea. The file will be up on the forum. The original drawings are up on the forum. So if you didn't get to do this whole thing or you dropped off when I rambled off into Nowheresville, you can always come back and wrap it up using the same files I did. So thank you very much, and we will see you next time.
See you guys Friday.